Hey there, sweetness, how goes it? I do hope that it goes well. Quick name of the game. If there's anything that's connective to this collective, that's beautiful. I invite you to take that shit with you. If, however, nothing resonates, it's alright. Just leave it right where you fucking found it. It's probably a piece of information that was meant for someone else in the collective, and you should never take something off this table, or in general, that does not belong to you. Please keep in mind that time may be fluid as well as energy, and let's get into it, shall we? Yes. Yes, we fucking shall. What are we getting into? Some stories of my gypsy soul, in hopes that they help the homies. Spirit of love, truth, grace, and guidance, please guide myself, guide this collective, guide these messages, please guide us all, always, always. Thank you. Welcome home, homies. Please do the tribe a favor, make sure you get those likes up. I'm feeling nervous. I'm feeling very nervous. I don't talk about myself often here, but I feel like I got a call from my spirit team saying, connect, get connective to the collective. As above, so below. Manifestation work. Talk about my journey and what led me here to you guys, to this place, to this, I don't know if I can call it work, this way of life, this gypsy soul, and how I wandered here. So, one of the reasons why I'm a reader is because I connect with a tarot reader specifically, as one of the skills I have is that I can read the tarot, okay? One of the reasons that I can read it as fluidly and fluently as I can, intuitionally and studyingly, is because I've lived a lot of it to learn it. And so when you pick up a deck of cards and you look through the pictures and you can see your whole life story in them, and you can see a way to manifest the next chapter and the next chapter and the next chapter into the next book. Sometimes it's important to show your work and show how you got there. I guess that's the logic I'm working with at the moment. So I'd like to talk to you guys a bit about my life, who I am, how I came to be who I am, and use the cards. First of all, I'll say a few things that don't identify me. They're not who I am, but they are pieces to the puzzle that make up the whole of me. Excuse me, and I've yet to see the bigger picture. It's not finished being put together. But my name is Gypsy. I'm a person in recovery from many addictions. I have overdosed multiple times, been pronounced dead on arrival from the paramedics. I lost my children in multiple ways. I have hurt many people and been hurt. I am a narcissistic abuse survivor. My ex was diagnosed with narcissistic personality disorder, coupled with antisocial personality disorder and multiple other things, but that was the top dual diagnosis, and I was told by his diagnostic that majorly the only people on record with that for diagnosis are like serial killers, and that a good part of the reason why he hadn't gotten to that point of brutality in his life was because my particular ex suffered from a traumatic brain injury, and that was a part of my having so much empathy for him as my partner that I ended up becoming so much like him that it was is still sometimes hard to make it back from. After that relationship, I sought out very destructive connections because I was made to believe that I was a destroyer. Before that connection, I had some pretty destructive connections. I was not raised in a kind, pleasant, healthy environment. There was not much light in my life. It was a whole lot of darkness. And at some point, the song in the background, violently it changes. Yeah, something violently changed within me, and I began seeking the light and learning how to harness it from deep within me as well. All right, we have a whole story out. Initially, the Six of Swords in the reverse. The Star. Don't try to deny what you feel. The Four of Pentacles. Having trouble dealing with these changes. Chariot in the reverse. I had some troubles in dealing with those changes. That's making me think of a relationship that I had. It began in 2020. Right as we were going into lockdowns, I was approached by a man on Facebook, and he was a friend of a friend, and he had seen me at this friend's house and liked the looks of me, I guess, and messaged me on Facebook and had this whole story about, you know, kind of being born into darkness and doing some real dark things and it leading them to the light, and now they wanted to live in the light, and they noticed that I had basically done the same thing and, wanted to offer their light to me. And could I offer some light to them? Truly, they wanted to take my light and leave me with no way to connect to any more. And this person, a person that was supposed to be a love of my life, literally tried to snuff my light out one night. Ten of Cups, Five of Pentacles in the reverse. Hello there. My day's been quite well, thank you, and yours? Three of Pentacles in the reverse. Ace of Wands. Seven of Wands in the reverse. And last but not least, Princess of Wands in the reverse. The song's coming on in the background. What if I was nothing, girl? Nothing without you. Okay. So, once upon a time, I met a man, like I said, off of Facebook. He tracked me down. And he seemed, I checked in with our mutual friend and was like, is this person a decent person? Are they, 12-12 on the timer, 12-13? Are they, kind of worth me talking to? Because I had heard some things about the person from other people when I started inquiring, and so I just went to the mutual friend and was like, what do you think? And they're like, oh yeah, no, this person, they're really trying to turn their life around, and they could definitely use a good woman in their life, and, that would help them so much, and you're such a kind, giving, helpful, caring person, Gypsy. You see the light in things, you see the light in people, just like me, and I see the light in them, even though they're shrouded in darkness. It's not their fault. They're choosing to manifest better for themselves, and that's what they must have manifested you, basically. Well, this person didn't actually have anything to offer themselves. Not truly. They didn't bring anything to the table. And then they would sit there and scream at me, well, what do you bring to the table? What do you bring to the table? While they were sitting at my table, eating my food, in my home, after making their way into my life. This person made me feel like I was nothing because they took everything from me. Ultimately, I was cheated on behind my back. This Chariot in the reverse. So I am a Cancer. This is my card. And this is, God, this is such my vibe. So a reason why I chose this deck to express some of my journey because of the artwork here, and this is actually the first tarot deck that I ever bought. When I met this person, I was in college, going for a bachelor's degree in mental health and human services, because I had I was staying in a battered woman shelter for 2 years I stayed there. 1 year by myself. The second year, it was me and my daughter that stayed there. We stayed in this shelter. I stayed there first in order to get custody of her after I had lost custody because I had overdosed, because I was living a brutal life, being narcissistically abused. With the antisocial personality disorder, I was completely isolated. Um, my ex, my daughter's father, had completely secluded me to living his life, but much less than that. I was taken to the town that he lived in with, all of his people, but I was not allowed the same rights that he was, although I was given many more responsibilities than him. Um, his family, he's part of a narcissistic family. And at first, my mental health broke and crumbled, shattered. I overdosed. I was pronounced dead on arrival. And I woke up. I woke up in the hospital, absolutely surrounded by doctors holding me down because I was trying to rip all these tubes out of me. They had to medically sedate me because I wouldn't calm down. I was afraid that they were trying to hurt me. Um, this is all going to connect back to itself, and connect back to myself. So I woke up in the hospital. They had sedated me. I woke up again. Um, the DHS workers came in and basically expressed to me what had happened and what was going to happen from there. They said that my daughter was going to stay with her family because I was deemed unsafe. Although, when I tried to express to them that it was her family that had given me the prescription drugs that I had overdosed on, they didn't want to hear it because I was the drug addict. I was the junkie, so to speak. In the beginning, they did not know. My daughter's father was not diagnosed with the narcissistic personality or antisocial personality disorders. It was because of all of this. Was we were both taken in for, you know, psychological evaluations, and it came out in the wash that he, in fact, was a narcissist, and that I had been being abused for years in a row, and that my daughter had suffered the abuse as well, and we had suffered abuse at the hands of her family. Um, and my family was no better. That was why I was so susceptible to him and his family being able to swoop in and be like, "Hey, we're the conquering heroes," um, you know, though they weren't. Um, After I woke up in the hospital, I, for the for the first moment, honestly, was like, I've made so many mistakes. How can I come back from this? I can't. I can't come back from this. And messed around a little bit more, probably for about 2 or 3 weeks. And then I called a battered women's shelter and asked if they had any openings. And they said no at that given time, but to call back the next day. And I did. And again, no. And same thing. And I just kept calling back and kept calling back and kept calling back. And it was probably about 2 weeks worth of calling and calling and calling and just giving it every bit of strength that I had, doing whatever it took to get to that place, and out of the place I was in. I got into the battered women's shelter. I stayed there for about a year without my daughter. Underwent a lot of, again, psychological examinations, parenting classes, substance abuse counseling. Um, I went from being dead set against DHS because they wouldn't hear me out to them finally actually listening to me and working with them, gaining custody of my daughter on my birthday, the greatest birthday gift I could have ever received. And we went from the domestic violence shelter into a home. And though we started with very little, we made it pretty far before. I would say I was single for about 2 years or so before, no, 3 years. It had been 3 years that I had been away from my daughter's father, and the next Mr. Right found me on Facebook. He sort of came at me with a story that was a lot like my own, like I said, and I felt empathetic, and all these targets were hit, you know. Anyway, it ended brutally. I was cheated on. I tried to fight for my right to not be treated how I was being treated. And when I decided to stop fighting, when I decided I wasn't going to fight anymore, then I was brutally attacked. Physically. Like I was using my words, arguing my point of having a right to be treated like a human. And me and my vehicle, my chariot, were both attacked brutally one night on the side of a road. I almost died in a ditch after almost rolling my car over while going through a guardrail into a river, and then almost going through a guardrail into a river, and then almost rolling my car over. Then I ended up pulling the car over, getting out of it. A brutal physical fight ensued, and my then fiance at that point, who was at least twice my size, if not 3 times my size, brutally attacked me and had me fighting for my life in a dirty ditch. Tried to suffocate me in the ditch water, and again attacked my vehicle. I had mentioned that I was going to college for mental health and human services. It was to go and work for the same domestic violence program that had helped my daughter and I so much. And I came to find that this person, this man that had introduced himself to me as, you know, someone looking for the light, looking for love, looking for peace, looking for family, looking for a good life, had it presented to me that this was who they were, came to find that they were actually, in fact, a brutalizer and had multiple domestic violence charges with multiple other women and had kept that secret and hidden. And I don't know if they thought that, you know, when we met, I could help them or something, and then they realized that there was no help. I don't know, they got increasingly agitated by my success, agitated by my refusal to be blinded by their fake fucking bullshit light. I don't know. But they didn't like that I wised up and went from a Princess of Wands energy into who I am. They really didn't like that I laid my sword down and stopped fighting They kept trying to provoke and provoke and provoke me into I don't know what. I didn't allow it. I realized that the pen was mightier than the sword. For the first time ever, I called the police on a domestic dispute with a partner. There had been multiple times that I probably should have before in other relationships, but I never had the strength. I never saw myself as being good enough. Hi there! But I love this. The song Zombies came on in the background. It's not me, it's not my family in your head. Honestly, the biggest thing that's occurring to me to say is it's important what's in your head. And at some point, I realized that it was important what was in mine. And that's why I was chosen. That's why I was attacked. That's why I was gifted. That's why. It's what's in the head, it's what's in the mind, it's what's in the heart, it's what's in the blood. There was a time that I would have never, ever dared to come onto camera and speak by any means. There'd be a time where I'd never be able to talk about myself or my life or my truth or connect to anyone about their self or their life or their truth. But those moments, those times, they pass. They come and go. Today, I just felt it important to share far and wide. So maybe those listening get the seed they need planted in their soul right here. Instead of somewhere they shouldn't. It's the same old theme. That right there, that's my ex that left me in a ditch. Put me in a ditch. I didn't get left there. Spirit didn't leave me there. Spirit brought me here. There's been a lot of places between there and here, honestly. When I started this channel, I had to pick myself up off the bathroom floor to get on camera. To speak my truth. Sometimes the truth just cannot wait. And it's a collective time for the truth to stop fucking waiting around. And to stop being tricked and duped. No more. Spirit is calling an end to love being war. Or being associated with war, because love is not war. That right there, that looks like my daughter's father. Love is not confusion. Love is not shining false bright lights in someone's face, saying, my light's brighter than yours, trying to dim other people's lights out. Love is not playing stupid or damaging people's minds, their hearts, their bodies, their soul. Love is not self-seeking and sacrificial of itself. Love is gentle and pure, and love feels good. It's not destructive. Love can't be stolen. You can't be cheated out of true love. True love can't be pressured away. With obligations or promises or threats. It can't be won. It has to be earned. Now, it occurs to me to say that I've had a lot of moments in my life where I've met a lot of unjust energies and feelings and consequences. But I've also done a lot of unjust things. There's an acceptance there that's important. But there's also an acceptance in not being the total blame taker when it's being shifted, because that hinders progress. There's no justice for the fool that won't take the journey. I've met a lot of fools refusing to take a lot of journeys. I've been the fool refusing to take the journey. It didn't get me far until I started deciding I was gonna get somewhere else. I was gonna get somewhere else. 33 on the timer. Here I am. I wandered straight to me. I could feel me coming in the air. The real me was always there, this me. I stood in my own way with too much darkness, and it attracted a lot of other darkness. Today I like to stand in my own light and attract other light, but if my light is shining so brightly that others can't see me in it, well, sometimes I'll lower it, but that was mostly a bit about my being a stoner and smoking cigarettes and saying fuck a lot, guys. There's been a lot of times in my life where I didn't know better things. That's not the case today. Not with a lot of these things. There's a lot of things I don't know. Ooh, there's way more things I don't know than things I do. I do know that. I hope you guys have enjoyed sitting with me. Something I'll tell you is that sometimes we can't always have it our way. But sometimes we can. And sometimes people making us think that our way is the wrong way can trick us into walking straight off our own path and onto one that we don't belong on, and getting trapped in places we don't belong in, sharing with people we don't belong sharing with, caring about people we don't belong caring about because they don't care or share with us. Not wholly and completely as we do with them, as we do with all. Contextually. Something important about getting to who you are and staying there. Or getting to the understanding of you are who you are, and you're going to stay you. You're going to stay who you are, but you don't always have to stay how you are. Don't deceive yourself into thinking that just because you are who you are means you have to be how you are. I deceived myself into thinking like that once, and it wasn't long before I numbed myself to death for deceiving myself that way. I'm thankful that God gave me more time to hang around, work on things, think about things, self-introspect, make some changes, inside, outside, to the way I connect to people, to the way I let people connect to me, or don't. Or don't. Or don't let them. I don't know, guys. One day I decided I wanted to make something of myself. The places I've been, the things I've seen, the things I've done, things I've built, things I've destroyed, things I've walked away from, all of it. The good, the bad, the ugly, the indifferent. I decided I didn't want to be a drug addict anymore. That's not my thing. It's never really who I was. It's something I did to cover pain. Something I did to dim my own light because I was taught to do that because my light affected people from the time I was young. But that's not an energy I was meant to stay bound and tied in. Having to dim my light only because others wanted to shine theirs and they felt outshined. But it's not like I was ever trying to... Oh, so like, I'm getting the quote about the sky would be awfully dark if there was only one star shining in it, right? I've never, ever, ever tried to be the only star shining. Never. Never have I tried to be the only star shining. There's more than one. And they're fucking beautiful. And they make these lovely patterns and things that we can look at and imagine and manifest through. But it's almost like in certain situations in my life, I was meant to be sort of like a North Star. My energy, my light, it was sort of meant to be like a North Star. And that bothered other people. They want it to be the only star in existence. You have to watch out for people like that. Don't overreact. Use your temperance. Let them be judged, not you. Don't make deals with shifty, dark-ass people that refuse to tell the truth, take accountability, show respect. Someone that wouldn't pull a sword out of your back for you, not for fear of hurting you worse, but for fear of you then surviving. I've met a lot of people that wouldn't take the sword out, and come to find out it's because they had a hand in putting it there. Because they're dark, nameless in their deeds. There are no fine lines to truly follow when it comes to finding the self, but there are paths to walk and senses to feel. Senses to feel. Never, ever, ever, ever dull them out. I never found justice there. I never found peace there. Comfort. Connection to spirit. Connection to anything. I felt shut out, shut in. Not saying life has to be a giant party all the time, but a little celebration sometimes. Especially when life feels like there's just no magic. Again, don't overindulge with things. Don't give to things that break your heart. Fill your cup instead. Give to yourself. Don't wallow in yesterday or be anxious about tomorrow. Live in today. Grow today. Be in the self today. Recognize the light and the dark of the self. Sense yourself. Sense your light. Sense your path. Sense your abilities. Sense your responsibilities. Sense your duality. Sense your right to live and be, to be in the ebb and flow of life, to give and be given to love and to be loved. Know that you're safe to not be strong all the time, but you're safe to be strong when you need to. You're safe to be you. And to find your balance and understanding in that safety. And these are all things I absolutely needed to learn and still need to reinforce within myself along this journey of life. So, I don't know if this is a hit, if this is, a type of reading you guys enjoyed, getting to know me and some of the moments I've collected in my life. Um, Let me know. Leave me some comments. Alright? Leave me some likes. If I get a lot of likes on this video, I'll know that you guys really like this content, right? Alright. I love you guys. Thank you for being here. Thank you for listening. 45:45 on the timer. Getting out of here. Until we speak again, my dears.